Welcome to the Marvel Multiverse RPG. In this game, you and your fellow players team up to tell amazing new and original stories in your own personal corner of the Marvel Multiverse. These tales can star heroes from famous teams like the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, and the Avengers, or they can feature brand new heroes of your own creation. You can even mix things up and have heroes you create fight alongside Marvel legends like Spider-Man, Captain America, and Wolverine. It's your game, and it's entirely up to you how to play it. Now, I could sit here and read the whole book to you, but I see no point in that. What I want to do, though, is kinda do an overview of the book. I've looked through it a few times, and I think it'd be beneficial to go over it for a few reasons. One, so my friends can watch this and learn how to play the game because they're too lazy to read, and I don't want to have to explain the whole thing and waste time on session 0. Two, so people who don't know anything about it or unsure about it can learn about the game and hopefully want to play it. 3, to point out some things, at least in the first part, I don't necessarily agree with. Welcome to the Fictional Focus. I'm Nick, and this video will be the first in a new series of videos where we go over the rules of Marvel Multiverse in the core book. Basically, I'm gonna go through the book and chapter by chapter and give a brief explanation of how the game works. Simple. So, chapter 1, how to play, is basically just about what RPGs are and what you'll need to play. As with most, all ttrpgs, I haven't played every one made. This one uses dice, specifically 3d6. I don't know why, but in the rules it says that ideally with one different from the others, when one has to be different to know which one is the Marvel die, which is a huge part of the mechanics of the game, but I guess it's not important. Just know you should have 3 6-sided dice, and one should be different and designated the Marvel die. I use a red one, since it's Marvel, I don't know. This will be explained more in chapter 2. Another important thing you need is the character sheet. It's where all the information for your character is, your stats, powers, and so on. They have a downloadable version that's fillable. It's really nice. I'll put the link in the description. There's also one at the end of the book that you can make copies of, but the digital one is a lot easier. What I'm doing for my friend, and players could do it for themselves, is make a spreadsheet or something, a document of some kind, with a description of all their powers and what they can do. That way, during combat and stuff, the player and the narrator don't have to constantly keep looking through the book trying to figure out what they all do if you don't remember. For people familiar with D&D, or really even most people unfamiliar with D&D, know about the DM, or Dungeon Master. In Marvel Multiverse, this player is referred to as the narrator. Serves the same purpose, runs the game, plays as all the NPCs and whatnot. Which is why I don't agree with this from the book, that an experienced player doesn't have to read anything. Sure, they might know a lot about TTRPGs, but this could be different than anything they've played, and it'd be good for them to look over the character creation section, so they can have a rough idea of what kind of character they want to make. What I'm trying to say is the narrator has enough to do without needing to teach all the players every single rule of the game at the beginning. The player should take some initiative and learn how to play the game before they actually play the game. Which is then confusing why in the same section they have a part saying if you want to be a better player, read up to chapter 9. All I'm saying is give the narrator a break. They already have enough to do. There's a part in here about session 0. For those unfamiliar with this, session 0 is typically used to make the players characters and determine what type of game you'll be playing. As in theme, tone, if anything is off limits, and what to expect from the adventure. Communication is important with this type of game, so that everybody has fun and there's no misunderstandings. And the last bit just talks about role-playing. Some people have different ideas of what that means. To me, role-playing is being able to make decisions as your character that might not necessarily align with what you would do. To be able to think about how your character would handle different situations, and how they would deal with different types of people, that sort of stuff. Though, of course, it's perfectly okay to have your character be a fictionalized version of yourself, and they make all the same decisions you would. If that's the fantasy you want to play, it all depends on the players and their desired play style, since that's basically the point of the game, is to play the fantasy of being a superhero. And now on to chapter 2, core mechanics. Basically all about how the dice work. As I said before, the system uses 3d6, and one of them is the Marvel die, the red one. If you roll a 1 on it, it counts as a 6. Now, the action check refers to any time you roll for something, like an attack or to complete an action like hiding or figure out if somebody's lying to you. Basically like skill checks in D&D. So for the action check, you roll your 3d6, add the ability scores are explained in Chapter 3, and compare it to the target number, which is usually referred to as TN. For an attack, it'd be against whatever defense you're attacking. While doing the action check, you can make a fantastic success, which is when you roll a 1 on the marble die and you succeed in the action. It becomes a yes and result, as in, yes, you succeeded, and you did so well, this other cool thing happens. What happens is up to the player and narrator to figure out. And they don't mention it here, but a lot of powers have extra things they do if you get a fantastic success when you use them. There is also a fantastic failure, which is when you roll a 1 on the marble die, but you still fail the action check. It becomes a no but result, as in, no, you did not succeed in what you wanted to do, but something cool still happens. Which again is decided by the player and the narrator. And lastly, there's an ultimate fantastic success, which is when you roll what is called a 6-1-6. So a 1 on the marble die and a 6 on the other two. The player automatically succeeds the action check and ignores any troubles or edges. Which brings us to the last part, troubles and edges. If you have an edge, it allows you to re-roll 1 die on an action check and use the better roll. And they can be stacked, so you can have multiple edges. So if you have 3 edges, you could re-roll 3 dice. Trouble is basically the opposite. You re-roll the best dice and use the worst result. They are also stackable, but they cancel each other out. So if you have 3 troubles and 2 edges, you only have to re-roll 1 die. So that's basically it for the first 2 chapters. Just a lot of setup and intro for people who haven't played a lot or any TTRPGs before, and how the dice system works. The next video will probably be chapter 3 and 4, character profiles and combat. We'll see. So don't forget to subscribe, check out the podcast, follow us on Instagram, and all that stuff. So, thanks for watching. Till next week. Bye.